Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Crafty Meraki, and today I'm going to show you how I created a textured background with die cuts. So I am going to be using the Artisan Flora Wreath dies. I picked 3 flowers, a large, medium, and small. I have die cut 3 from each size, so we'll have a total of 9 flowers, and I die cut them from watercolor paper, and I am using some Karin markers, which are watercolor markers, to color these. I have a purple, pink, and turquoise, and I'm going to do one, so I'll have 3 purples, 1 in each size, and the same with the other 2 colors. So I'm just putting a little bit of color at the base of the petals, dipping my paintbrush in water and just blending it out quickly. I like to do that because I don't want it to be perfect. I want there to be, a variance in the color. I like the watercolor look, so I just want it to feel a little more like that and less controlled. So that's why I'm just getting the color to spread around. It does not have to be perfect. Plus, it also goes quicker when you're coloring. So I'm doing each one of the colors. So that's the pink color. The colors are pale violet, turquoise, and I don't even know how to pronounce it. Cerise, C-E-R-I-S-E, which is a pink color. And then I'm using the cocoa color for the centers of all of the flowers. Again, this is on smooth watercolor paper. And these are the die cuts that we're going to use to create this textured background. It's also going to be beautifully colored, which I think is an added bonus. But you could also do this in a white, so white on white or black on black or craft on craft. You could do it that way too, and it would just really give it this 3D textured look. But I'm going with colored flowers on a white background. Here are the centers to the flowers. And this is going to be a slimline card. I'm also going to be using the Timeless Frames slimline dies. It's got this beautiful scalloped edge, and so we are going to use that together. So now that those are dry, or excuse me, painted, we can finish with the last little tiny flowers. These are the centers for that. Let's die cut the second smallest frame from the Timeless Frames slimline dies. I feel like that's a tongue twister. I also will die cut the largest one. Let's glue our flowers together. I wanted to make sure that I had enough flowers for the size of the slimline die that I was using. So that's why I'm using the medium size. So if you wanted the larger, I would die cut a few more flowers, probably 4 or 5 more flowers maybe. That would probably fit in there. I'm going to show you just the 3 different sizes, just quickly how they glue together, putting the centers on. But you can see how pretty they look. They do look watercolored, which again is what I was going for. And I love that these are like a layering die, so you have more dimension with the flowers themselves because there's 2 layers plus the centerpiece of the flower. Let's get this little guy glued together and add his little center there. Now I'm going to start laying these out just to get a rough idea, and it went fairly quick. I just started with the largest flowers, then the medium size, and then I will fill in with the smaller flower. I like to lay my things out ahead of time because I really have to see what I'm looking at, and I kind of like how this is. I do have the flowers turned in different directions, that way they're not all going in the same direction. And then I'm just going to use some liquid glue to die cut these. You will also, or excuse me, to glue them down, not to die cut them. You will also notice that I am letting these hang off the edge, and we will trim that off. And that is important when you're making a background like this because you don't want everything just floating in the middle. You want it to look like this could just go on forever. So using my reverse tweezers and some liquid glue to adhere it down. And then once everything is adhered, which I thought it was, and then that one was not, then I can use some scissors and just trim that excess off. And then that will give us a nice clean little area on the edges. And then this can just fit right kind of back into the frame that it came in, but we're going to pop it up. So here's that larger frame. I'm going to adhere this to a slimline background, which is 8.5 by 3.5. Then I'm going to add that centerpiece in, which you don't really need to do, but I wanted to have that look there. Then I'm going to take that smaller frame. This is how it's going to fit in the center. And I was deciding, do I want the scallop frame to be popped up and the center, but I don't want the scalloped popped up. So I'm going to add some adhesive behind that. And then the centerpiece with all of the flowers, we will add some foam adhesive behind that. I do want that to be popped up so that can have more dimension. So just a foam adhesive roll right down the center. And then for the sentiment, I am using the Gilded Greetings EAP and the coordinating die. I already have some that are already die cut, and I'm going to use Grateful on the front and then For You on the inside of the card. I didn't want to cover up the whole front. Here's that EAP, and then there's the coordinating die that die cuts them out. I didn't want to cover up the whole front with a sentiment because this flower background is just beautiful and I want to notice that more than the sentiment. So I will add a little bit of foam adhesive to the back of the word grateful, and then I can just place that right in the center. And then I will use some liquid glue to adhere the other sentiments inside of the card. I don't usually put things inside of my card until I'm going to write it to somebody, but this fit, so just place that down. And then of course I want to come in with the Golden Illusion gemstones and just place a few of those around. I'm kind of dealing with more of the smaller ones than the bigger ones. And I just wanted a few, and I'm going to adhere those down with some liquid glue. And then we can take a look at this up close. I think it's so pretty. I love all the scalloped edges, but it's beautiful. That floral background is just stunning. I love how it turned out. And those gemstones, and then you have your sentiment on the inside. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project, and I hope you guys feel inspired.